How's everybody doing? Today we are looking at a 1975 LRP, menu number 4. This is a food packet long-range patrol, beef with rice, menu number 4. This is manufactured by Quality Packaging Supply Corporation, Rochester, New York, 14621. There's no Julian date code on this packaging. I looked all over and I cannot find anything that would indicate the date, but where I got this from said it was in 1975, so let's actually see what it is. We're going to try to slice this guy carefully from the back. Hopefully we won't cut any packaging. And let's actually see if we can determine the date. Okay. I'm not getting any kind of library smell. Nothing old. Alright, we have a accessory packet, menu number 4. This has a cornflake bar, lemon, a cocoa beverage, matches, coffee, creamer, sugar, and an interdental stimulator. We'll get to that guy shortly. Put that guy right there. So we have a toilet paper. And it's really hard to make out who manufactured it because it's blurred out. Okay. Strumball Paper Co., Green Bay, Wisconsin. We don't need that. There we go. All right, that's our first item. Look at that guy right there. And there's no date codes on any of this paper. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we've got our MCI style spoon. Wow, this is really solid. Beef with rice by Oregon Freeze-Dried Foods Incorporated, Albany, Oregon, 97321. This is 5 1/4 ounces net. We have a U.S. inspection passed, Department of Agriculture. Caution, inner bag is open on one side. Remove it carefully, holding outer bag upright to avoid spilling contents. Beef with rice. Tear bag open at notches. Add a half a canteen cup hot water or cold water to food in bag. Let soak 5 minutes. Add more water if desired. May be eaten dry. You don't want to eat that dry because it will cause some discomfort in your stomach, and it will actually dehydrate you by pulling the water out of your stomach. So you definitely don't want to do that. So we're not going to tear this because I don't want it to go sideways on me. So we're going to gently just cut it with a knife. There we go. Okay, the air's starting to go back in there. And this thing does not want to separate. 1975, that would be something, wouldn't it? My goodness. And there it is. And you know what? I'm not getting any kind of weird rancid smell out of that bag. I'm going to save that packaging because that's history right there. You won't ever see those again. Yeah, that smells really good. That doesn't even have a hint of questionable smell. Wow. That smells really good. All right. We're not going to use this little guy because he's tiny and this is the big meal to get through. So we're going to put that on the side. Let's actually look at our accessory pack. This, I'm going to actually slice from the back. All right, so we have our interdental stimulator. And it feels like it's possibly 1 or 2 toothpicks. That's weird. And it's rather thick. Let's open that guy up right now. Ah, look at that. It's actually 2 toothpicks. And look at the shape of them. Isn't that unique? So we have our 2 toothpicks. Wow. This is really dated. White tip matches with the striker on the front. DB and Son, North Carolina. That is something. Normally you see the strikers on the rear. The striker's actually on the front of these matches. That's going to be saved. So we have a creamer substitute dry for coffee or tea, 4 grams, dissolved content in 1/3 canteen cup, 8 ounces of beverage. Santa Division, Beatrice Foods, Madison, Wisconsin, 53701. Wow, cornflake bar, class 2 lemon flavor. Ingredients: cornflake, sugar coated, hydrogenated shortening, dehydrated egg, fruit flavoring fortified with vitamin B1A, ascorbic acid, polydextrin. I can't even read the rest of that. That's right on the edge. Van Brode Milling Company Incorporated, Clinton, Massachusetts, 01510, USA. That's pretty unique. I've never actually seen one of those bars. We have a cocoa beverage powder. This is fortified, 1.5 ounces by Sana Division, Beatrice Foods Company, 201 West Beltline Highway, Madison, Wisconsin, 53701. Mix contents with 6 fluid ounces or 1/4 canteen cup water. For hot cocoa, add contents to hot water, stir until dissolved. For cold cocoa, mix contents in about 1 ounce of water, make a smooth paste, and then add remainder of cold water and stir until blended. Cocoa powder beverage, type 1 fortified. That is really unique. Then we have 2, wow, instant coffee type 2, 2.5 grams net with sorbic acid, dissolved contents in 1/3 canteen cup, 8 ounces of water, manufactured by Tenco, a division of the Coca-Cola Company, Linden, New Jersey. Interesting. Then we have sugar, 6 grams, California and Hawaiian Sugar Company, San Francisco, California, 94106. Okay. Okay, we got everything laid out. Let's, since this is a vintage meal, let's use some vintage fuel. I found these on our favorite auction website, and it's fuel compressed trioxane. Comes in 3 bars. We're going to use one for our stove, and the bars are quite large. Wow, wasn't expecting that. Purple? That's definitely interesting. And there seems to be some kind of chemical crystallization on it. I wonder if these are even good. Let's find out. They must be good because they stink to holy hell. Wow. Yeah. That's interesting. Look at that. There's actually like some kind of crystals on one side of them. Wow. And they're actually separating a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this in half. Oh my God. And we're going to put 1 tablet in there, lengthwise. All right. Put that on the side right here. And let's light it and get our water going. And that lit rather easy. Okay, let's get our water ready. Oh, excuse me about that. When that water comes up to temperature, we'll finish this up. Stand by. All right, we're back. I had to add the other tablet because right at the halfway point, this just died. So I prepped another tablet. We're gonna rehydrate this right now and put it on the side. So it's called for a half a canteen cup, and that's what we have here. And we're just gonna put pretty much a half a canteen cup. You know what? We're gonna go just a little extra. Mix that up. Yep, that's definitely enough water. And that water was boiling. I'm going to close this up. And since they didn't give us a closure device, we're just going to use one of these little clips. And we're just going to put that on the side and let it marinate. So let's get our water ready for our drinks. I'm going to need another cup because we have coffee and hot cocoa. So I'm going to just measure it out. 2 cups of water. That's pretty much going to be this whole entire canteen. Okay. I'm going to throw this fuel tablet in here, the entire one, if it will fit. There we go. Light it. Okay. Let that start cooking. And we'll be right back. All right, we're back. It's about 7 to 8 minutes. That entire bar burned out completely, and I think it's hot enough for these mugs. I don't want to make that water too hot because these are insulated mugs and they will retain that heat, something ridiculous, and I burned myself many times already. Wow. This coffee smells amazing. We're going to actually make a double strength. I hope this creamer substitute is still good. Wow, and look at that. It is absolutely perfect. And we're going to put all of the 6 grams of sugar in. All right. Now for the cocoa beverage type 1 fortified. It looks pretty good, but there's just powder everywhere. I don't want it spilling all over everything. Yep, and that powder looks perfect. Yep. All right, let's add our water. That was a perfect amount. Took it all. That cocoa really looks interesting because it's developing like a foam head. But you can tell that's quality cocoa just by looking at it. And the aroma that's coming off it, I couldn't even describe it. It's nothing like a Swiss Miss cocoa packet. This is just in a whole nother generation of cocoa. I don't feel anything on the bottom, like sludgy, nothing on the spoon. This cocoa completely married up with the water perfectly. Let's put these to the side, let them cool off a little bit. Let's look at our fruit flavored type 3 cornflake bar. And it's in a really unique cellophane, which I don't believe I'm going to be able to open. So we're just going to cut it. Yep. Yeah, that smells pretty good. I'm not getting any kind of weird smell. I'm really amazed. All right. Let's give that a try. I tell you, I'm blown away. Normally I would take caution to something this old, but I really must say the way that this meal was stored, This is in absolutely perfect condition. I'm not getting any off taste from the oils. It is a compressed food bar, so you go into biting it with caution, trying to figure out how much pressure to put on it. As soon as you get it in between your teeth, it starts crumbling. And you start tasting the cornflakes, the cream. There's like milk powder in it, so it's creamy. I'm not tasting fruit, but there are like floral, sweet notes to it. So I guess that's the fruit part, because I've had cereal bars before and they were never this sweet. I'm not saying it's overly sweet. It's like pleasantly sweet to the palate, and it's not dry or thirst-provoking in any way. This is really a treat. I could eat 10 of these a day if I could find them. This is pleasurable. And that coffee, that is ridiculous. Rich, bold. It's not acidic. There's a slight, very slight acidic like note when you take it, but it kind of really matches the profile of the coffee. That is fantastic. And that goes perfect with this. All right, let's look at this. Let's see how this came out. Or at least give it a stir. Might have put a little too much water, because it is a little bit on the watery side, but it's still piping hot, and I would still give it time. Oh my goodness. The taste on that, if I would have told you this came out of a Mountain House meal from last year, you wouldn't know any better. That's how good that is. There is nothing about that that indicates proceed with caution. And we're talking 1975. Actually, you know what? I couldn't find any kind of date codes on any of the packaging. The accessory packet, nothing had a date code. So I'm just going to have to take the seller at his word for 1975. And honestly, I believe it, because I've opened up some old rations and I've still never seen matches with the striker on the front. So if you know what year they stopped using matches on the striker with the striker on the front, please put in the comment section. Please let me know. Does this 1975 date line up with how we're seeing things right now? Oh, that is absolutely ridiculous how good that coffee is. I was a little worried when I bought these meals because of their age, but I'm telling you, I'm getting more of these, because now I know what to expect. I have one more menu in reserve, chili con carne. And the guys who sell these on, our auction site that we like to visit, he has a whole listing of different menus and different years. Oh, wow. You thought the coffee was good? The cocoa's even better. And don't hold me to it. The seller, I believe, is in Alaska. So you know these are being stored for the most part throughout the year in a cold environment. I know Alaska gets warm, right? But not as warm as we get in the lower states. And when it gets cold, it seriously gets cold. I can't get over this. Chocolate, ridiculous. Coffee instant type 2, off the hook. And yes, just have to remind myself that this is type 1 cocoa beverage. So we got type 1 cocoa beverage, type 2 instant coffee. I've had a fair share of old cocoa powder from brown bags, tan bags. This is on a whole nother level. Ugh. All right, last bite. All right, while I savor this coffee and this cocoa powder and this cereal bar, I'm going to let this sit a couple more minutes and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Coffee, hot cocoa has cooled down. We took our time enjoying that fruit cereal bar. That thing was absolutely ridiculous. This had at least a good solid 20 minutes, if not more, to rehydrate. And I am really interested in trying this because this definitely smells good. All right. Wow. The smell that's coming off this is so inviting and so savory that I don't care that it's from 1975. It smells absolutely divine, and I hope I'm not disappointed when I take a bite into it. So everything rehydrated nicely. Could have probably just went a little lighter on the water, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. Let's get a first bite on this. Oh my God. Oh my God. This tastes absolutely amazing. And what's surprising is it doesn't taste salty. Usually the freeze-dried meals are overly salty. And even with adding maybe 2 or 3 extra ounces of water, you can definitely tell it wasn't salty to begin with. The beef has a perfect texture to it, outstanding flavor, and what really is surprising me the most, I'm not getting any type of hint of rancid oil or anything questionable, no off smells. The gravy that it's in, it's absolutely insane. The rice is perfect texture. You could tell it's freeze-dried rice because it just doesn't have that texture of freshly cooked rice. But it's a little bit on the firm side, but it's rehydrated perfectly. If I was eating this in the field, I would be so happy. This is absolutely nuts that a meal from 1975 is still this fresh, this edible. I'm blown away. I really am. Usually when you buy these older meals, it's more of an documenting, unbagging, looking at the components, how they were back then. Very rarely you actually get to eat it and enjoy it. And I'm telling you, this has not degraded one bit. Now, granted, I have never tasted this in 1975, but I can only imagine. I can't even imagine this being better because you know how food degrades over time. This is ridiculous. I can't stop eating it. I really can't. This is that good. And it's not even salty. That's really surprising me. The texture of the beef, the rice, the flavor profile. We're going for it. We're going to finish this right now. Wow. Talk about filling. Talk about filling. And you could tell the meat is not processed. They actually took ground beef. I don't know if they cook it first. Probably. They probably cooked it, crumbled it, and they dehydrated it because the sizes all vary. I see some onions. Yep. This is absolutely nuts. When I did this meal, I figured the rice with the beef would have been the safer option. If it would have turned, you can kind of tell right away because it's real simple. It's rice, a light gravy, some seasoning, and crumbled ground beef. Versus the chili con carne, which is the other menu I have. That's definitely going to get filmed soon to share. I'm just at a loss for words. Every once in a while, you get a bone thrown to you. And this is it. Wow. I'm already starting to sweat. All right. I really don't think I'm going to be able to finish this. But I definitely will be finishing it in maybe a half an hour. One more bite. Actually, I can't. I'm already stuffed, man. Wow. All right, coffee time. Little swig. Insane. Coffee instant type 2. There is no replacement. I mean, I'm used to Bill's Brew. But this is on a whole nother level. I wonder why they stopped making it, really. When you had something that was this decent, I'm not saying it's gourmet. Of course, there's better coffee. But we're talking about a coffee that is from 1975. That's nuts. 1975 coffee, 1975 hot cocoa. I think this is the star right here, right next to that. That is first place, second place, third place. And that cereal bar, nuts. I wouldn't even want to say it's fourth place because it was that good. This whole meal was absolutely insane. Yeah. That cocoa is just, I don't know how they engineered it, how they changed it, but 75-year-old cocoa, I make some of the 1982, 1989 MREs. Their cocoa wasn't even half as good as this. Every time you got to stir it every couple of minutes because it just settles like mud at the bottom. Has a weird aftertaste sometimes. This, there's nothing on the bottom. It's totally incorporated into the liquid. It's not overly sweet, doesn't have an aftertaste, has outstanding cocoa flavor. It's creamy. I don't know what else to say. These fuel tablets, they burn super hot, but they don't burn long. But I like them. I think they're kind of unique, but they leave a hell of a mess after they're done burning. So, I don't know. I thought they fitted with this meal, with the canteen, you know, the plate. Either way, I don't think there's anything else here to talk about. If you're still here, thank you for watching. I want to thank you to my members, the Field Ration Testers memberships. I really appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel. Your names are going to be up at the end of the video, so my little way of saying thank you. It helps me bring these rations to everyone to share. I hope everyone enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed sharing it. And you know how it goes. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.